single-story rural home in Nowhere, Virginia. Retired Agent Fox William Mulder glanced at his watch, and the numbers 4:20 p.m. flashed back at him in an eerie green fluorescent glow. He'd been making numerous phone calls to the Washington Bureau for at least an hour and was getting nowhere fast. He'd really hoped that Kimberly would have patched him through by now to his old friend who had still managed to maintain his superiority in the FBI, Assistant Director Walter Sergi Skinner. Her most recent excuse was that he was in a very important board meeting and could not be disturbed. Mulder had known this was in all probability a lie, but continued to remain on hold for a further 30 minutes, then had reluctantly given up. But he was damned if he was going to be defeated. Punching in the numbers once more, which was becoming like a mantra, he waited until the secretary answered with a cheery demeanour that was now beginning to get on his nerves.
Assistant Director Walter Skinner's office, can I help you?
Kimberly, it's me again, he began sharply. Please don't give me that he's still in a meeting crap. I need to speak to him.
Mr. Mulder, I would appreciate you not use that tone of voice with me,
Kimberly said, rather perturbed by his manner.
It's not my fault he was in a meeting.
I'm sorry, Mulder apologized. It's just that he's the only one who will listen to me over there. Yeah, I shouldn't have taken my frustrations out on you. Then it struck him what she'd just said. So he's free now? Kimberly sighed heavily. She'd always thought of Fox Mulder as a very intelligent man, who was also very good-looking as well, something she believed to be a rare combination in the male species as a whole. However, everyone has flaws, and in this case it was his irrational way of looking at the world, where everything had to relate to the unknown, and how he could see underhanded conspiracies in almost everything. She'd never understood that part of his behaviour, and probably never would.
I'll see if I can patch you through.
Thank you, Mulder replied, almost relieved. There was a brief pause on the line, then he heard his ex-boss's deep, dulcet tones on the other end of the phone, and quickly realised he was sounding none too pleased.
Mulder, what on earth is it? Kimberly says you've been trying desperately to get hold of me.
Now he finally had his attention. He suddenly realised what he was about to suggest could in all likelihood fall on deaf ears. Yet Skinner was the only person who'd been there for him during his time as an agent in the FBI, well, most of the time. Hopefully he'd listen to what he had to say, but where to start? He thought he'd better try and keep it polite, whatever decided to come out of his mouth. Sir, I found some old cases on the net, revealing the brutal deaths of several women over the years, dating back to the 60s. The Bureau closed them because they were classed as suicides and nothing more, only—
You hacked into the FBI's database?
Skinner interrupted sternly. Mulder hesitated, knowing full well this was a felony, and it could have landed him in deep water telling the assistant director this. I guess I did, sir, he admitted, defeated. Walter Skinner let out an exasperated sigh down the phone.
Go on.
Realising his ex-boss was going to reluctantly let him off the hook and not press charges, he carried on with trepidation. I believe there were paranormal reasons for those deaths, sir.
Mulder.
He heard his name uttered in a low, ominous tone. Sir, they all died in front of mirrors, and I used to have cases revealing this phenomena, and—
Mulder, you don't have the X-Files anymore.
Skinner cut him off abruptly. I realise that, sir. You think I don't? He replied, a touch of anger brewing.
So why can you not let it go, Mulder? Move on, for God's sake.
Skinner had sounded extremely harsh, and that upset him, but he carried on, trying to remain calm. Sir, you valued my contribution once upon a time. Sure, you showed your approval reluctantly sometimes, but you also showed me some respect, and I believe I returned that respect.
Mulder!
Skinner began again, but before he could add anything else, his former agent carried on with what he was trying to say. They took it all from me, Mulder said very quietly, breathing slowly. He swallowed hard, trying not to let the tears follow. You know as well as I do how unfair that was. Skinner's voice took on a gentler tone.
Yes, I do.
It was everything I had, Mulder said, his voice barely audible. Everything that I was. This time Skinner's sigh was sympathetic.
You have Scully now and a new life together. Isn't that important?
Of course it is, but I still need to do what I believe I was put on this godforsaken planet to do, he replied dejectedly. Skinner sensed the tension in his former agent's voice and decided to approach carefully.
Why, Mulder? I mean, why can't you just drop this and move on? The last involvement with the FBI almost cost you your goddamn life.
His voice rose slightly.
You should never have been asked to help look for that missing agent.
That was Scully's doing, Mulder said abruptly. She's the one who asked me to help them. Later I realized the good I could do, and so I had to stay on board. He gave a heavy sigh. What good am I if I can't help people, huh? How about the people no one else wants to help because the paranormal is involved?
You are not everyone's savior,
Skinny said softly.
No one should have that kind of a burden on their shoulders.
The irony in that sentence almost made Mulder laugh out loud. So the FBI is never going to require my assistance again? Fine, I'll just stay out of the way when the fucking invasion occurs in 2012. Okay, that was a stupid and pointless retort, he decided, because the chances of stepping away unscathed from an impending apocalypse was almost next to impossible. Walter Skinner's breath caught in his throat. He had carelessly overlooked this very real and looming threat, maybe because he seriously didn't think his mind could cope with it right at this present time. He also knew that in the not-so-distant future, Fox Mulder would indeed get dragged back, kicking and screaming if need be, to become an ally for the FBI. Gone quiet all of a sudden, have we, sir? Mulder asked.
I just don't know what to say,
replied, emitting defeat.
All I can advise you is you keep away from these FBI cases, old and new, and go and live your life with the woman you love. It's the best I can offer, Mulder.
A brief pause, then.
I'm sorry.
You mean enjoy what time we have left, don't you, sir?
Yes,
Skinner replied. Truth was, no one knew how much life they had left. Someone could get run over by a bus the next day, or die trying to save mankind from a race of grey aliens intent on claiming re-ownership of their planet. He refrained from going along those lines of thought any further. Mulder changed the subject abruptly. I thought you might be able to help me reopen at least one or two of these cases, he said, the tension building inside. I guess I was expecting too much from you.
I'm sorry, Mulder. I can't help you, not with what you're asking. Not this time,
Skinner replied, a forced calmness in his voice. So you're saying you'll be there for me when the fucking aliens invade? Well, I guess I should be grateful for that at least, Mulder said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Thanks for nothing, sir.
Please, Mulder,
Skinner exclaimed.
My hands are tied, you know that.
Before he could let the man reply, he added,
Just forget the X-Files and everything ever connected to them, for your own sake.
He pleaded. My own sake? That's rich coming from you, sir. Mulder was starting to let the anger seep through, but then somehow managed to keep it at bay. Walter, I know they'll finish your career if you help me in any way. He sniffed a little as his eyes began to brim with tears. I'm sorry I bothered you.
I'm sorry, too. So sorry.
Skinner had been extremely resentful, having to watch while the FBI tried to destroy Fox Mulder's reputation and good name, yet could do nothing about it. Now the feeling was back in full force because he was just as helpless.
Mulder,
He said softly, not allowing his former agent to hear the anger in his voice.
Don't call here again. Take Scully and go away together, far away from this.
Already done that, sir, he replied, resigning to the fact he was going to receive no further help from the AD. Tropical Island, the whole shebang. There was a pause on the other end of the line, then he heard Skinner making some feeble excuse.
Mulder, I have to go. I'm scheduled for another meeting with the board of directors.
Walter Skinner felt incredibly guilty, having to end the conversation this way, but there really was nothing more he could offer. Those bastards held the reins, and he would have to keep tagging along, or just like Mulder would be forced to resign from his job, and it was a pivotal position he did not wish to lose. Of course you do, Walter, he replied, letting out a long heavy sigh.
Take care, Mulder,
Skinner said quietly. Could he have been more transparent with those words? You too, sir. With a heavy heart, Mulder hung up the phone, then glanced over at his laptop, which still displayed a website revealing the folklore tale about Bloody Mary. Just what had he been expecting from Skinner? A miracle? There was nothing the man could do, and it had been ridiculous to even think he could. The powers that be owned him, hook, line, and sinker. He'd just have to work out another way to pursue those cases himself. Oh, but he would find a solution, because there was no way he was going to give up that easily. As for the possible extinction of mankind that was looming out on the horizon, it was probably best not to dwell on that subject for now, more for his own sanity than anything else. Reaching over to turn off the printer, Mulder stood up and stretched his arms above his head, hearing his bones crack from the strain as he did so. Damn, he was getting far too old for this. However, the chances of retirement just seemed like an elusive dream. Snatching a manila folder from his desk, he read the title he'd scrawled out with a black marker. BM Folklore vs. Mirror Girls' Deaths. Then tucking it under one arm, he strode out into the living room, grabbed his coat off the hat rack, and headed towards the front door, slamming it shut as he left the house.